Hi, this is Noel Serrano with the Gala Lighthouse. Favor in the wilderness. At that time, declares the Lord, I will be the God of all the families of Israel, and they will be my people. This is what the Lord says. The people who survive the sword will find favor in the wilderness. I will come to give rest to Israel. The Lord appeared to us in the past, saying, I have loved you with an everlasting love. I have drawn you with unfailing kindness. I will build you up again. And you, virgin Israel, will be rebuilt. Again you will take up your timbrels and go out to dance with the joyful. Again you will plant vineyards on the hills of Samaria. The farmers will plant them and enjoy their fruit. There will be a day when watchmen cry out on the hills of Ephraim, Come, let us go up to Zion, to the Lord our God. Jeremiah 31:1-6. The kingdom of Israel had splintered in two, and the northern kingdom had been carried into exile. Judah in the south was left uncertain and afraid about its future. Violent empires rose around them, threatening their existence. Exile seemed inevitable. And into this moment in time, God had his prophet Jeremiah remind his people of his past favor, to instill hope in his future provision. There would be life and favor in the wilderness. There are many ways to describe this collective moment in which we find ourselves. But maybe you'll agree with me that among its other characteristics, these weeks have been a wilderness. Not only is the pandemic ravaging our world, once again it is those furthest from our society's power who suffer the most. Immigrants are expected to continue working so that the rest of us can shelter in place. Indigenous communities are suffering disproportionately from the virus. The answer from Jeremiah to God's splintered people was, no, in this wilderness you are not forsaken. Even here, even now, there's a future worth living toward. If we're to understand that nothing can overpower resurrection hope, we need to hear God's two declarations in this passage. We need to hear his declaration about our past and his declaration about our future. If we're going to understand that nothing can overpower resurrection hope, we need to hear God's declaration about our past. These verses dance between the past and future. God says, I have, and I will. This is what the Lord says. The people who survive the sword will find favor in the wilderness. I will come to give rest to Israel. The sword recalls Israel's flight from Egyptian captivity and Pharaoh's army. After being saved by God through the parted sea, the people stood before the vast wilderness, from the frying pan into the fire. On that first Easter morning, God's everlasting, never-quitting love took back what the death had stolen. His love tore through dividing walls and ripped through curtains of separation. His love was an earthquake raising the dead to life, loosing chains of oppression, shaking foundations of power. The power that raised Jesus from the dead is a power that makes this everlasting love a reality to behold. If we are paying attention, we will fall to our knees before this resurrected love. We will stammer and quake before it. Our knees will knock and mouths hang open. There is nothing tame or safe about the love of God. A love that led through a bloody cross is nothing to be trifled with. But it is eternal evidence that you are loved with an everlasting love. This love has raised you from death into life. This love is transforming you from the inside out. This love has brought near the kingdom of God, pushing back the shadows of our rebellious world. It's a strange request to make on Easter, even stranger during a pandemic. But would you remember a previous wilderness? Remember God's loving kindness, His rest, His favor in the wilderness. Do not let today's wilderness make you forget about God's yesterday favor in the wilderness. We're going to understand that nothing can overpower resurrection hope. We also need to hear God's declaration about our future. Our passage begins, "At that time, declares the Lord, I will be the God of all of the families of Israel, and they will be my people." These are splintered people, and this is a promise of reunion. God reminded His people of their past. Now He points ahead. "I will build you up again, and you, virgin Israel, will be rebuilt." But what precisely does this mean? Well, God provides three characteristics of the future promised to His people. God's future will be joyful. Again, you will take up your timbrels and go out to dance with the joyful. This is a spontaneous joy. It's not the pre-planned excitement of a birthday party or a holiday. There is simply joy in the air. God's future will be marked by justice. Again, you will plant vineyards on the hills of Samaria. The farmers will plant them and enjoy their fruit. Samaria was at that time occupied, so this is a picture of reunion, but not only that. The people tending the land will also enjoy its fruit. No sharecropping here. No enslaved people toiling for someone else's benefit. No undocumented immigrants forced to work for subsistence wages. Those who steward the land will enjoy its fruit. There will be no lack in God's future. And God's future will be full of worship. There will be a day when watchmen cry out on the hills of Ephraim, "Come, let us go up to Zion, to the Lord of God." Now, an obvious question for a people in the wilderness who are hearing God's vision for the future: do we have to wait for these things? Are we to sit around until this future arrives? The answer is provided a few chapters earlier in Jeremiah 28, when God invites His people to begin living into this future now. For a people in the wilderness, God provides a vision of joy, justice, and worship. It's a vision that can be lived into the wilderness. This is a challenge for us. In the wilderness, we want to return to normal, but God is calling us forward into something new. A lot of us cannot wait to get back to normal. But I've seen your normal and mine, and I don't think it's something we should settle for. Can I suggest that your desires for normal are not strong enough? They are faint shadows of the desires you were made for. You were made for joy. You were made for justice. You were made for worship. Let those small desires open you to the real thing. New creation streaming into this sick and weary world, breaking into our sadness and grief, redeeming our losses. When we hear God's declaration about our future, we understand that nothing in this wilderness can ever overpower our hope. In this wilderness, God speaks to His people's past and to their future. Remember their previous wildernesses. Did I not give you rest? Did I not love you with an everlasting love? Did I not show you loving kindness that could not be overpowered by anything in the wilderness? I will build you up again. You will dance with joy. You will plant with justice. You will gather in worship. Reoriented by these divine declarations, the people's hope is restored. For it becomes clear that with God, there is favor in the wilderness. This is Noel Serrano with the Gala Lighthouse. The following has been a presentation of the Gala Foundation.